Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's an echo there, but we'll see. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Okay. So what's going on with dispatching? Or I know it's kind of slow because of what's going on with the whole pandemic thing and working on carriers and stuff like that. But just want to do a little bit of review. Was you in Sunday's training?
No, I was preparing for this tornado that was going through my area.
You were preparing for what? I'm sorry.
A tornado.
Oh, ouch! Oh, is everyone okay?
Yes, everyone's okay.
Okay, good. That's great. Okay.
I have wait, that echoes bad.
I'll put it under. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a new carrier. I'm just waiting for all her paperwork.
Okay, so what equipment type is the new carrier?
Drive-in.
Okay, and what paperwork are you waiting for them?
I'm waiting for her her new authority to be
Active?
certified or something, whatever they call it.
It becomes active.
Active, yes.
Okay. So she's a brand new. So she just got her truck and trailer, just got her MC authority.
Yes.
Okay,
right.
so how much?
And she said she's in the insurance stage now.
Okay. So she's in the insurance stage, getting quotes or finalizing her insurance.
Finalizing.
Okay. And then is there an ETA of the time frame that she expects to become active?
Oh, she's not sure about that part yet.
Okay.
But I did send her over my contract and carrier profile for her to look over.
Okay, so is she considering you to be her dispatcher?
Yes.
Did she disclose to you where she want to go, how far she want to run, and things like that, or?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are some of the places she wants to run?
She wants to stay on the East Coast, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. She doesn't want to go to New York at all.
Okay.
Yeah, those are headphones.
Okay. So North Carolina, South Carolina. So those are the only states that she want to run, like in the South area, Georgia, Florida, maybe,
yes.
And back home. Okay.
Yes.
Mike just made a comment. New dispatchers should leave new carriers alone. Yeah. Well, we can get Mike to expound on that, but I think he was joking. But it'll be kind of what's called a dual, the both of you, dual growing pains where you guys learn together. She has her new authority. I think what Mike is trying to say, or what he's getting at, is the challenge will be, because she's a new carrier, she's going to have a hard time with brokers because she hasn't, really proven herself. She hasn't. Mike said, I'm not joking. Yeah. So what he's saying is,
Mike is funny.
Yeah, Mike is hilarious. Yeah, she is. So what you would do is, you would, of course, with this network, we have a few brokers that will give new owner operators, those with their brand new authority just became active, an opportunity to prove themselves by running some loads for them successfully. Successful meaning deliver on time, no damage freight, no claims filed against them, things like that. So if you do that consistently, that's how you build the relationship as an owner-operator with the brokers. You know, you get their freight where it needs to go from the shipper, where it gets picked up from, over to the receiver where it gets delivered to. So, so what have you been doing? Well, you're waiting. You're also waiting for her to return the paperwork, right?
Yes.
I would think that she would be doing that at the same time while she's waiting for confirmation of her authority becoming active as far as insurance and things like that. That's just my estimation.
Okay, so she could fill out the paperwork, the contract now, and then send her resident information later on.
She can send you the dispatcher agreement and the profile whenever she wants to. Now, she can't run a load with you or you find a load for her until her authority becomes active. But while you're waiting, I would at least, get the paperwork back, get your system set up and get her processed in your system, like a little filing system where her where her dispatcher agreement, profile, I'm assuming she's getting her W-9 together. She's waiting on her MC authority letter to become active, which coincides with the insurance becoming, for getting her insurance policy. So once she get her certificate of insurance, the MC authority will become active after so many days, and then once everything kicks in, she's a new carrier. If the IRP, all the other bells and whistles that come along with that. But in the meantime, at least get you, if she's really adamant about you being her dispatcher, then she would return that to you. And of course, if I were you, I would follow up with her. Just say, hey, while we're waiting, let's kill two birds with one stone. While we're waiting for your stuff to become active, send me back the dispatcher agreement so that way you and I can, have an understanding, and then we can start to strategize certain places that you want to go once your stuff become active. We can get ahead of the curve. I have a network and resources that I can lean on to help guide me from my perspective as a dispatcher to help you, while we're waiting for your stuff to become active. And then once it becomes active, I should have enough information to go ahead and just get you rolling. That transition should be smoother. Once you become active, I should be already prepared and, getting your first load prepared and having you ready. So that would be my conversation, or the gist of my conversation with her. I would, do it like that, because you want to, especially since she's new,
Can I say something, Charles?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, well, like right now, that criteria with the new carrier, the minimum I heard is at least 30 days in business with 4 references, but the average is 90 days been in business with 4 references. So as you're a new dispatcher, it's probably going to be a little challenging booking that first load for a brand new carrier. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
So therein lies. So then you lean on the network. Those of us who have a little bit more advanced understanding and knowing that, we can kind of like point you in the direction, or at least where you may have a likelihood of being a little bit more successful, as opposed to just jumping on anything and seeing what you can get for them. Now, I was going to jump on the load board and see the areas that she could possibly be in, and see if the brokers that we deal with, the ones who deal with carriers who just got their authority, if they have freight in those areas that she is willing to run in.
She's located in the Charlotte area.
Okay, I used to live in Charlotte, so I'm familiar with the area. So she's from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
And so I just opened up, I'm assuming you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Mike said there's plenty of freight out there. Yeah, so the freight is out there. We just gotta the mechanism of joining the carriers with the loads that's the challenge now, especially with this added obstacle, if you will, of this corona situation. So some cases is good, other cases is bad. Like I just did I did this in a box truck. I took a FEMA load, 100 and something miles, and it was paying pretty substantial. So what's that? N95 masks and the insulation gowns. So there was a FEMA facility there. I took it from the southeastern part of Virginia to the central area of Virginia, like Richmond and Charlottesville and stuff like that. So so here we go. She's based in Charlotte. XPO is the largest logistics company out here. So by annual revenue, by carriers, everything like that. So I did my research on it because I'm actually investing in certain companies, and a part of my investment strategies is to consider things that I involve myself with. So I have a Facebook account, so I'm investing in Facebook. I deal with Amazon, Google, Netflix. Then I got into the transportation stuff, so I'm dealing with like XPO. I was looking at some stocks in that, so I'm kind of diversifying the portfolio. So I found out in my research that they were the largest transportation logistics organization out here, and I didn't realize.
Wow.
So, but here is Charlotte, North Carolina, dry van, 206 loads. I'm going to click the rate to sort the loads by the amount, right? So now we're jumping. So now don't look at the big money, right? Just because it's a large amount of money doesn't necessarily mean it's paying a large amount in the cents per mile. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you can have, like in this example here, 2,500, but look how many miles it's going. It's going.
Right.
So if you were to do the, I don't know if I went over the cents per mile with you, or if you were in the training where we did the cents per mile calculation.
Yes, I was.
Okay. So 2,500, and you divide that amount that is paid by the loaded miles. Now you can include the deadhead. It's over 50, so it's under 100, over 50. So that's kind of a gray area for me in determining if I'm going to add that deadhead distance into the loaded miles. Let's say for the sake of this one, I'm not. So 2210 into 2,500. That's $1.13 a mile. So which is what's going on right now. That's about $1. So there we go right there. But there are other ones here that are approaching $2 a mile, but it depends on where they want to go. Like Charlotte to Independence. So she would have to pick up in Independence, Virginia with this one, which is 99 miles north of her, Charlotte, and then go down to Florida with a 30,000-pound load that's paying almost $2 a mile.
Okay.
So this just gives you an idea. I think you have access to this, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it just gives you an idea. Mike says the low rates hurting the industry right now. A lot of carriers are on vacation trying to wait this out for better rates. Yes, that is true. That is true. In the meantime, while those who are on vacation waiting it out, the problem with that is that the other ones, because freight is still moving, so a lot of carriers are taking the cheap freight loads. Now, if there was a substantial amount of carriers who were like boycotting and not taking these loads, then it kind of forced the industry to kind of raise the prices up to the level what the carriers wanted. But that's not happening. Right? You got people that are still taking the cheap loads. Now here's one here. Even though it's a small amount, it's a decent run. $500 picking up 25 miles from where she's at, Mooresville. I know where that's at, and it's going up to West Virginia, which is 180 miles. So even though that's a small amount, it's a decent run for that, $180 180 miles at 500. That's $2.77.78. So,
right.
And that's a you can do that twice a day maybe. So that's $1,000 a day, and you run it at, if you do it twice, that means it's $360 at 1,000, which is probably going to average out to the same amount. Same amount. It's just the mathematics, right? So there may be some diamonds in the rough, and it doesn't say how much weight they're hauling, but that's not a bad load, because that person can run up there, and if they can find something coming back, a back haul to help cover for fuel, they can make it extra money on top of that. So, Mike says 70 trucks shut down highway Monday protesting in Texas. Yeah. Yeah, because I think the trucking industry we are, or I should say, because I no longer drive like I used to, they are essential employees, essential workers, essential personnel, because how else are the goods getting to and from the locations? So, but yeah, Novella, that's just an example of, if I were you, I would get ahead of the curve. Like this right here, I will present that to, let's look at this one in detail. Let's see what it says here, just out of curiosity, because right now we have no idea when she's going to receive her authority becoming active. So, but just to show her as an example.
Does it take a while?
It varies. It varies. There's issues. Different carriers have different issues with it all depends on the when the insurance kicks in, how long it's taking on the insurance, with credit, what type of insurance, who you're going with, the type of policy and things like that. Because your authority is not going to become active until you have insurance. They're not going to. FMCSA is not going to activate and give a carrier the authority to move freight out here without being insured. That just makes sense, right?
Right.
You can't run freight without having insurance on the freight. So the insurance is a big issue, a big deal. So that's a step. So applying for the MC authority is fine. You just go to the fmcsa.dot.gov website and go through that process, that one-time $300 non-refundable fee, and go through the steps, answer those questions. Then you have to deal with IRP, IFTA, UCR, different steps that's involved in that, and then of course your insurance. So she's doing it. She's doing what she's supposed to do. Now she's just in a waiting period. So, but you as a dispatcher, what is your role in this whole process? Particularly dealing with this specific carrier that you are getting under an agreement. Mike says, don't wait on her, Novella. Try and get more carriers to sign up.
Oh yeah, I'm every.
What do you do? Are you calling? Are you going to look? Well, I'm not sure if you're going to truck stops or anything like that, but
No, I cold call.
Okay.
And sometimes when they don't pick up, I leave voicemails, and sometimes when they have their email, I send them emails.
Okay. So what is your response rate? What have your response rate?
Don't even call me back.
Right. So have you gotten any responses?
Let's see. No, some of them didn't pick up so far this week, except for that one I told you about a few minutes ago.
Okay. So she picked up, and There you go. Well, just keep it up. I know we're going through a period right now, so just keep it up. But while we're going through this period, though, it's from a dispatcher's perspective, it's a good idea to still learn as much about the process as you can, and then once or when everything kind of comes back to a sense of normalcy, then we can just plug in the pieces and then go from there.
Right.
So.
And I did have that one carrier last week I told you about. So, you know, I called her and asked her how's it going, you know, to see if she wanted me to find some loads for her. But I guess they schedule for loads ahead of time, so she doesn't need it yet.
Yeah, and that's, well, you just made a good point, and that's what a dispatcher should be doing. So scheduling loads, you know, scheduling or load planning like a week or 2 weeks out. That way you don't have to worry about chasing spot market loads on the load boards. They're a good dispatcher or a good trucking company. You're going to get to that point eventually. Right now, as a new dispatcher, you're probably relying on the load boards and spot market loads to the point where you begin to establish relationships from your spot market loads on the load boards with those brokers. So what I mean is when you're booking loads with brokers on spot market loads on the load boards, of course you're going to be asking questions to them and say, hey, how often, you know, I just ran this load with you with my carrier, we booked this load, but how often do you guys move freight in this lane? And they're going to tell you, you know, we move it like once a week, twice a week, we got loads coming out of here every day. And then therein lies your opportunity to say, okay, well, I can have my carrier or other carriers, you know, in this lane as often as you need them. And then the broker's going to either provide you their information, send you email with their lanes, or anything like that. Case in point, I got an email from a reefer broker. I was going to open that up in a second. And but these loads, you got to bid on them. They're reefer loads, and you got to bid on them. I'll show that to you guys in a second. Like to welcome Pat, Les Ginn, I think that is her name. And hold on, stay on the line, Novella. I can talk to you on the line.
Okay.
Robert just chimed in. So Les, I'm assuming Les is a guest. I know who Pat is. She's the lady who has her business. Les, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, how you doing?
How you doing, Les? You're a guest.
Yes.
Yes, the first I see your name. Someone invited you over, or you just saw us on YouTube, or?
Let's see, the Dispatcher Broker Truckers Group.
Okay. On Facebook.
Yes.
Okay. And what is your role in that? Are you a dispatcher, trucker? Are you a freight agent?
Dispatcher.
You're a dispatcher. Okay. How long have you been?
For myself, I'm just getting started. I've been doing it probably for like the last 5 or 10 years for someone else.
Okay. So now you're just independent dispatcher?
Yes.
Okay. And well, since you've been doing it for 5 or 10 years, I can. Is it safe to assume that you have access to carriers that you may know across the country that may have a need for a dispatcher?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be advantageous for you then, you know, to go after them. You know, when you were dispatching, what equipment type were you dispatching for? Flatbed, dry van, reefer?
Mostly flatbeds and hot shots.
Okay, so you did the dualies with the 40-foot trailers, up to 40-foot trailer hot shots, and
Yeah.
then the standard skateboards, the 48, 53-foot skateboards.
Yes, 48 and 53.
Okay, so you already know about all the accessorial equipment, the straps, the tarps, chains, binders, dunnage, pipe stakes, all that stuff.
Yes.
Headache racks. Okay, well Well, then that would be, I would assume then that would be a good demographic for you to target as you become independent. You know, since you already have experience in doing that for a number of years.
Yes, I was recently working with the airline and got laid off and decided to take this opportunity to go out on my own.
Right. Now, the timing couldn't be any worse because of the, you know, what's going on out here. But there's still freight out here. There's still opportunities. We just got to target certain areas, cities and stuff. Where are you based at, Les?
Atlanta.
Oh, you're in Mecca. Okay, you're in the Mecca of the country. So there should be plenty of flatbed loads out there, I would assume. There's some fertilizer shippers down there. Of course, lumber is prevalent down in that area. Steel pipes, rebar.
Yes.
So yeah.
Correct.
Robert just tuned in. Hey, Robert. Robert just asked you a question for you. I think it was for you, Les. How did the hot shots go? Were you able to move loads for hot shots? Was it easy to find hot shot loads?
For the airline, yes.
Okay, for the airline. So if you have hot shot carriers and you put them in front of the airline loads, that they should be pretty good. But outside of that, was it a challenge?
No.
Okay. And those hot shots were coming out of Atlanta too?
Yes.
Okay. So you can go ahead.
Mainly where our some of our hubs were for maintenance, because we were dealing with maintenance parts for airlines. So if it was dangerous goods or anything like that, we had to move them by flatbed or hot shot. So Detroit, MSP, Atlanta, doing some work with UPS and Louisville, things like that.
Okay. So do you still have connection with some of those brokers?
Yes, if I can get back to my computer.
Yeah. Well, so you can use those connections. So now that you're independent, you can use those connections and then connect your get your own carriers that are of the same equipment type for those brokered loads that you were when you were working under someone, and then put your own carriers in front of those loads and then continue to move them because you're already familiar with them.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. Well, now you sound a little there's a little apprehension in your voice. Is there some kind of obstacle that's going to interfere with that?
No, just like I said, I'm just getting started. So I came on, I saw this in the group, and I said, well, let me get in and just hear what they're talking about, because I'm trying to get as much information as I can as I dive off into this.
Okay. Is there a specific information that you're looking for in particular?
Probably the biggest one is going to be building a new client base. So the marketing aspect of it, because that wasn't something that I really had to worry about so much when I was with the airline.
Right. Well, and you mentioned you were doing it for a number of years, and one of the first questions I had asked you earlier is that you I'm sure there were plenty of carriers that you came across and met in those years. So I would try to reach out to some of those carriers, especially those for they're independent owner operators, opposed to the ones that you were working under. Even the ones that you were working under that you're no longer working with, because it would not even be considered a conflict of interest now, because you're no longer with that company. If you're going off independent, they're like free reign. You can just talk to them. And I'm sure you know a few of them. You've been talking to them as they've been transporting back and forth between the airlines. I'm pretty sure that there's a few of them that you pretty much know. So
Yes, yes, I do.
And then I would talk to them starting out like, look, I know I used to work with the company. We used to transport the freight with the company, but I'm an independent dispatcher now. If you're willing to work with me, I can keep you running not only with these loads in addition, but, other loads as well. Because, being an independent dispatcher, you have a little bit more freedom to go to get loads from anywhere. Now, what's good that you can use the connections with the airlines and this type of freight that you had or still have access to profit from it. So,
Yes. I do have another question, and it's about getting paid.
uh-huh.
Can you give me a little bit of insight on how dispatchers get paid?
Well, last training Sunday, we had the title of that training was, and I'm gonna give you a little background so and then it'll help, and then everyone else who wasn't in the training they can kind of hear too. We had the title of it was called the role of the dispatcher. So there's in our opinion, or my opinion, and some people will agree with me, but 3 levels of dispatchers, right? You have an independent freight dispatcher. And matter of fact, I'm trying to remember because that's one thing I forgot to do, and I apologize, because I did not put it in the back office, but I do have it in my folder. So let's bring that up to help answer Les's question, okay? Role of a dispatcher is a Word document now. I was going to make it a PDF and add it to the back office tools and resources. And I'm going to write myself a reminder to do that tonight. So, I don't know if you're on the computer or on the phone, Les. I think you're on the computer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so last training we had the role of a dispatcher. There were 3 levels. We have an independent freight dispatcher. Then we have a dispatcher, someone who started a trucking company with their own authority but no assets, no truck and trailers. And then, of course, a person who's a dispatcher who started their own trucking company with their authority and assets, maybe 1 truck and trailer, whether it's a hot shot or, a tractor trailer or what have you, right? I follow you, Mike. So the independent dispatcher, the way that you would get paid as an independent dispatcher, number one, is you have a carrier under a dispatcher agreement and a profile. What you would do is after the carrier delivers the load and get the BOL, the bill of lading, then you would invoice them once they are paid. So it's kind of like a trust situation. But it hasn't led me astray because I've been doing invoice carriers for the longest time, and I only had one situation. In my 3 years, I've only had one situation where the carrier didn't pay up front, and eventually they did after, some time, like another month or so. So I invoice through PayPal or Square, just send it in an email. They can click it, pay with a credit or debit card. Numbers 2 and 3, if you start a trucking company say you start your trucking company, you get an MC authority, and then you lease, and you have no assets. You lease that authority out to owner-operators. Since you have an authority, you can get what's called a factory company, and those carriers who you're leasing the authority to, you can just get paid through the factory company. Okay? And the same thing for number 3, where you have a trucking company and you're dispatching for your own assets. Now they're company drivers. So, of course, you use your factoring company as well to get paid through that. But since you're focusing on number 1 as an independent dispatcher, I don't think you're at a point where you want to get your own authority and then lease your authority to owner operators and then dispatch those trucks to get paid. I think you are at the stage where, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are at the stage where you want to be an independent dispatcher, just get loads for those carriers and get paid, not with all other bells and whistles.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we focus on number one, then you would get the carriers under a dispatcher agreement, of course, and then once they and the verbiage in the dispatcher agreement talks about payment and things like that, but essentially once the carrier delivers and gets paid, whether they get paid from the brokers, three options, one of those three options, quick pay, ACH transfer, or paper check, or if the carrier has their own factory company, however method the carrier gets paid, the dispatcher will be paid and invoice the carrier after the carrier is paid. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, my business partner and I, we were talking about that this morning, and we were trying to figure out that part of it, that piece we didn't quite understand, because we weren't sure how it worked as far as with factoring companies and being able to get paid, or did we have to wait until the trucking company got paid or the driver got paid? So
right.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Now, there are factoring companies that are offering as a way of helping dispatchers do what's called affiliate marketing. Like Interstate Capital, for example. If you have like an affiliate marketing set up with them where you bring on carriers who do not have factory companies and they're your carriers that you're dispatching for, the factory company will pay you as well as the carriers for being an affiliate of their company. In other words, you're the dispatcher, you got a carrier who doesn't have a factoring company, you introduce that carrier to the factoring company, they get set up with the factoring company, so you get a percentage or a chunk, or not a chunk, but a cut of what the factory company pays the carrier for being involved with that factory company, and you get to use the services of the factory company to get paid from the carrier. So in other words, you won't have to be chasing your carriers for paying your percentage that you're charging for your dispatching service. It automatically comes to you through the factory company once they pay the carrier, once that load is delivered with the BOL, which is kind of cool. So, but that's it sounds like it's a novelty, but there are a little bit of red tape in it. I'm still going through some legalities with it, so that's why I really haven't kind of pressed it on the platform yet. But it sounds like it's going to be working pretty soon. So.
Okay. Do you recommend working with drivers that do not use a factoring company?
No. The reason being is they're going to be struggling unless that driver has liquid assets to keep them running. In other words, to pay for their fuel. Because if you're a driver without a factory company, then you're relying solely upon the broker to pay you. And you're getting charged more from the broker to use their quick pay service than you are from your own factory company's quick pay service. So if you are a carrier that's doing that and you're dealing with a terrible broker who doesn't pay, that's another thing too with a factory company. They kind of protects the carriers in the sense that they have a featured recourse or non-recourse factoring that helps them. That's the whole point of the N08, the notice of assignment. It does a credit check for your carriers on the brokerage to make sure that there are no red flags, that the broker pay on time, there are no issues with brokers paying. So a purpose of a factoring company is not only to serve as just invoicing, liquid capital. There are other features of the factoring company. So when carriers are selecting factoring companies, they should not only look in for the features of how they pay and things like that, but other things too. So as a carrier, this is your business, so you should have a business mentality as a carrier when you're going after different aspects of your company to keep your business in play. Particularly factory companies, you should get all the information that you need about the factory company before you decide which one you're going to go with. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Are you looking to start your independent freight dispatching service soon, or you're just researching, getting the information at this point?
Oh no, very soon. Trying to shoot for a May 1st start date. We're still trying to work out some things as far as banking, and because we're having problems getting the account set up because some banks aren't allowing people into the lobby. So and some online services have been unavailable.
Okay.
Navy Federal is not letting any new businesses start right now. So
okay, yeah, I have a Navy Federal account too. Look into Ally Bank.
Say that again.
Ally, ALL. Here, the Ally Bank, ALLY. Look into them.
Okay.
And see how far they go as it relates to what you're trying to do. If everything that they can do can be done online for you, then that'll be even better. You won't have to walk into a brick and mortar. You can just do everything online. So, and they have pretty low percentages too, 1.65 I think annual, that they charge for, because banks charge for certain services. So just like I said with the carriers, they need to investigate different companies that they're going to be doing businesses with. So true is that for dispatchers, to investigate every aspect of businesses as well. Robert says it is very important to find out if the factoring company will want to factor all of the BOLs. Yes, that is correct. Yep. So yeah, do your research on Ally, Les, and see what you come up with for them. And
okay.
But you've been in it for a number of years, so you're a seasoned dispatcher, so you already understand the process of booking a load, talking with the brokers, the carrier packets, the rate confirmations, load planning, and things like that. Correct?
Yes, that side of it I'm familiar with because I was doing it for someone else. But like I said, the front end and the back end and the business side of it is the part that I'm trying to get my hands wrapped around right now to be able to get this started up.
Okay. Yep. Well, so this platform here, Dispatcher 101, we have individuals who are business owners, and we have training materials on our back office portal that can assist you as well. So just a consideration. So
yes, I actually been watching a couple of your videos on YouTube today. So when I saw your face, I was like, wait a minute, I saw that guy earlier today.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, did you subscribe? I hope you. I need more subscribers. I'm working with this algorithm. I'm trying to get this YouTube algorithm thing down. But
okay, I still have it up. I'll go ahead and subscribe now.
Yeah. So yeah. You have a unique position though, because you know carriers, and you know the loads that you used to do. Now, how much access do you feel that you will still have available to yourself for those loads once you become an independent dispatcher?
Yes.
Did you hear that question?
Oh no, I lost you for a second.
Okay, I was saying is, how much access to those loads that you used to run with the back and forth between the airports, how much access will you still be able to have with those loads once you become an independent dispatcher? Will there be a conflict of interest issue or not?
No, I don't think there will be a conflict of interest, and I don't have an NDA, so I'll be able to make contact with them.
Okay. So for those of you who, what Les was meaning, the NDA, what you speaking about the non-disclosure?
Yes.
Yeah. So the non-disclosure agreement meaning that you can't disclose information or what you were doing, if you move away from a company and stuff like that, or they can come after you. So you didn't have an NDA. So, well then that should open up the floodgates for you, if you kept, especially if you kept information about shippers, information about broker, their contact information, reach back out to them, because I'm sure that those loads are still being ran, right?
Not right now. Because of the airline being shut down, basically those loads have come to almost to a complete stop.
Okay. So what you can do is, while they're down, is establish a relationship with those individuals who control those loads. So when everything comes back around, you can align yourself and your carriers with those loads, especially since they already know who you are.
Yes.
Okay. Area code 281, hello. Area code 504, hello.
Yeah, this Daryl Robinson, 281.
Daryl Rob. Oh, this is the broker.
What's going on, man?
What's going on, Mr. Broker? We got a broker on the line. Okay. And then area code 504. I'm just identifying people who are tuning in that I may or may not recognize their information. And I still got Novella on my line. Novella, you still with me?
How you doing? This is Justin with area code 504.
Who's area code 504?
Justin.
Justin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir, how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Okay, how did you come across our information? Did someone ask you to tune in, or?
Yeah, actually, Lester asked me to tune in.
Oh, Les. Oh, okay, you're a friend of Les.
Yeah,
yes,
Justin.
yes.
Yeah, Justin and our business partners.
Oh, the business partner. Okay. Good. Okay. And then Daryl is 281. Daryl's a freight broker. What's going on, Daryl?
Oh, man. Just checking it out for the week, man. It's for the corona thing, just got everything haywire.
So now give us a broker's perspective of what that means.
Well, the shipping thing is it's slowed up, man. It's slowed up. I contacted a few carriers. Man, they sound like they're a bunch of hyenas in the desert with no food, no drink. It's like, man, I mean, everybody, like feeling it, man. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. So from a broker's perspective, what are your plans? How are you getting ahead of this? Are you still contacting shippers or researching, looking for shippers who may still have a need to move something around the country? Because there is freight. Freight is still moving. It's just not as prevalent as we anticipate.
Right, and that's the thing, man. If I can find some shippers that's still moving it, man, that'll be a real blessing in the sky. Because the ones I've been talking to, it's like everybody just feeling the effects.
Now,
so, do y'all have some information?
Yeah, did I give you Denise information, the shipper?
Yeah. I contacted them. Well, it didn't go straight to Denise. It was another line, and I left a message, but they haven't got back with me. So I did that Monday, and between today and yesterday, I've been calling produce. I've been calling some other manufacturers and shippers. So, you know, everyone I have to call back who didn't call me, I get back with them like, you know, Thursday evening and Friday. So, you know, to call those that I missed or who didn't return my call.
Okay. And if you are fortunate enough to get a hold of Denise and you actually speak to Denise, let her know that Charles from Exodus gave you the information, and then go from there. Okay.
Gotcha.
Robert just asked, what are some of the major supermarket chains in your area, Darrell? You're in Texas, right? Houston?
Yeah.
Well, let's do one.
What the question was again?
What are some of the major supermarket chains in your area?
We have ATB, we have Kroger, we have Joe Fees, there is Aldi, Food Town.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now.
That
Kroger Fresh Fair, Lions Market, Snap Grocery, something called HEB. You got some Walmart centers. Fiesta Mart.
Yeah.
And then some other ones. So Robert asked that. I'm assuming Robert asked that for a reason. He's going to probably come back in and comment on that. But I would think Kroger's and Walmart's are always around. So yeah, I see Kroger's on I-10 and 610 and 45. So. Hey, Robert, can you unmute yourself? Robert, you asked that question for a reason, right? Because there's always going to be. I'm gonna hang up with Novella for a second because of the background. Don't be mad at me, Novella. I gotta hang up. Okay, so I think the point Robert is making as far as the broker and shippers and the supermarket chain, because yeah, Robert, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always opportunity behind my questions, Doc.
Yeah. I know.
There you go. There's the leads right there. You know.
Yep, they go to leads right there. Daryl. And I'm thinking.
Sound like a winner.
Yeah, because there's always going to be need for the waters and the essentials as far as food getting to these facilities so it can constantly feed us, right? So who are the shippers? Remember this conversation you and I had, Daryl, from the supply chain logistics, from the broker's perspective, right? You got the raw materials, you got the manufacturers, right? You got the wholesalers. You got the distributors. I'm sorry, you got the distributors, then you got the wholesalers, and then you got the retailers, and you got the end users, which is the customers, right? Remember that supply chain logistics hierarchy? So in each of those steps, you can target shippers, or you can decide which area in the hierarchy you want to target, and then go after shippers in that target area of the supply chain logistics for your location. So what I mean is, let me open up a new, and this is a little bit on the broker side, even though this is Dispatcher 101, but I mean, we got a broker on the line, so we can kind of, all right, so, and Robert made a good point, though. So, supply chain, logistics, Hopefully I spell a hierarchy correct. Hierarchy. So what's the first in the hierarchy? What's the first? Right? Raw materials.
Raw material, right.
Right. So now you figure, well, I'll break them down as we go. So then number 2, you have what?
Manufacturers.
There you go. I kind of gave it away as I was typing it. Because you got the people who do the raw materials and you got the people who got to make the stuff, right? Manufacturers. Did I spell that correctly? Manufacturers, right? Right? So once it's made, now it has to be what?
Distributed.
It has to be distributed, right? So now you got distributors. So now some of those distributors send them directly to wholesalers. Some of those distributors send them directly to retailers, right? And then eventually it gets to the end user or the consumers. You follow?
Gotcha.
Okay, so now in each one, now let's put it in perspective from a broker and what's going on today as far as the coronavirus and limited movement and things like that. So of this hierarchy, which one of these categories have the most movement as far as getting their goods to and from where it needs to go?
Which one in the hierarchy?
Yeah, which one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Well, 6 is the end user. We're going to always be able to go to the retailers eventually, but from your perspective, I'm going to start right here. So I'm going to underline this. So from wholesalers and above.
Yeah, I would have to say. Yeah, I would have to say the manufacturers.
Okay.
Because
so
that's. Go ahead.
Now, if it were me, I would think that distributors. But you're saying, what's the logic that you're saying manufacturers?
The reason why I said manufacturers is because if the manufacturers can't keep up with the demand, distributors, they cripple. So, it's like having a sales force team. Your sales force will always have a demand, that they trying to make or deals that they didn't broker. But if the manufacturer can only manufacture so many, then, hey, man, that's who's really in control. So that's why I would say, if I had to pick one in the hierarchy, I would say the manufacturers, because we all, waiting on them pretty much.
Okay, so now you pick manufacturers. So now let's go back to our Google search, and from a broker's perspective, you will say, and let's start in your neighborhood. Let's say, and I'm sure you've probably done this already. So what are some of the major manufacturers in your area? So we got all these pictures right here. All these manufacturers in your area, right? So, of course, they're all closed right now, but some of them are open. So this is where you would, if you feel that in the hierarchy that manufacturers are the ones that probably need to move their stuff and get it out more prevalently, have a need than all the others, then that's where, as a broker, you probably would need to target who you would go after as far as getting them set up, those shippers for your brokerage, right? So now you see what do they manufacture and where does it need to be shipped. So now of these choices, you would have to do the research, find out about them. So when you actually talk to someone, you will sound a little bit more educated when you're talking to them. Like, hey, Lincoln Manufacturer, I understand you guys make widgets. You guys ship them all over the Midwest and the Southeast. Whatever your problem lanes are, I can help you in that regard. I have access to over 200. You see where I'm going with that? So.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the starting point. You decide as a broker where in the supply chain you would have a need most that you can find shippers in for your brokerage. And then when you find that, like in this example, manufacturers, now you do a research, start in your locale first, in your area. Stay close to home first. And then, because it makes it easy for you to actually physically drive, you got about 20 of them right here. You can physically drive to them. Can you imagine if you got all 20 of these manufacturers under your brokerage to say, okay, send me a broker shipper packet, and you send out your credentials. You know, in the broker shipper packet, it just has your credentials and a credit application for the shipper. And then you send that back to your factory company. They approve it, and then boom, you guys are set up. So now they'll start sending you their loads. Can you imagine if you got 20 shippers in the Houston area alone with all their loads? Now you got another problem, but it's a good problem because you got 20 shippers. Each shipper got about 20 loads daily. So now it's going to be easy for you to find carriers because you got all these loads. But you got to do the research first, right? You got to do your homework. Got to do your homework first, right? Look these companies up, see what they're about, what are their commodities, you know, what do they do, where do they go? You know, they got websites here, like for example, Grimes Industrial. We go to their website. Well, let me go back. Grimes Industrial. I'm going to open that in another tab. I did correct. There we go. Let me log out of this one. So, is this helping, Daryl?
Yeah. I'm jotting it down right now, man. I'm making notes.
Right. So
can't miss this, man. This is why I tune in.
Yeah. So look, this is what they do. Look, capacity. So look, they're answering the questions for you. Their services. And you see pictures of flatbeds right here. They got rebar, steel. You see what I'm saying? They go to the port. This is the port. So you see? So they're like an industrial company. So you definitely want to target them, and they're in your neighborhood. And they're like Christians. Look at that. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. Look at that. You can So they go one for you right there. So you do the research on them. Here's their services. This is what they do. This is their products. So here's their services. In-house engineering, 2CAD design. They do all this stuff. So you take the time to do the research. Here's their products. And then their capacity, which tells you what they can handle, where they want to go with it, and everything. Look at this. They got 5 acres of land.
Who that is again?
Say again?
What's the name of that manufacturer?
Oh, right here, Grimes. Let's go back to the other tab. The first one. Grimes Industrial. So if you open up a Google in your browser on your internet in your browser, open up a tab, go to Google, type in the search bar manufacturers in Houston, Texas. You're going to get a list like similar to this, right?
Okay, yeah, I'll have my computer in front of me. That's why I was just trying to.
Okay, you're on the phone. Okay.
Keep notes in what you were saying.
Okay, you're on the phone. I'm sorry.
So
when you get a chance, just go back and look at the recording. You can go back and look at the recording.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but this is how you would do it. You would go in, get the information, and then Robert made a good thing too. Supermarket chains, because you got food is a big deal too. People need to eat, so we got distributors. So you can do a search for distributors and wholesalers. So let's do that real quick while we're on the subject. And if anyone has any questions, also dispatcher related, please do not hesitate to interrupt me. Okay? But so we got manufacturers. Now we have distributors. And you have a whole host of distributors in Houston, Texas of the results. What they do, they all have websites, so you do your research. So before you, if you are a broker, and this is not just for Daryl, but if any other brokers are on the line, if you are looking to contact shippers, don't go in there empty-handed. You want to have knowledge of the company prior to going to talking to a logistics or a shipping manager or, whoever the person you are going to talk to. When you go in there, you want to make yourself seem a little bit more educated. Like here, Houston Distributing Company, Miller Lite. So they distribute, that's beer. That's a beer company. Let's click that one. Right there, that's the website. So that's reefer. That's automatically reefer. Look at that. So, hey, Rachel. Another broker. This is broker night, apparently. I just got tuned in, Rochelle. Can you hear me, Rochelle? I got Rochelle on. I just want to see if I can get her to speak. But Daryl, you're still with me, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so now we did manufacturers in Houston. Now we did distributors in Houston. I come up with a beer company. Houston Distributing Company is a beer company. So that's a beer company. So as a broker, reach out to and this is in your neighborhood, and it's about 20 or so. 1, 2, 3. There's at least 20 of them right here. 15 to be fair, right? Now let's do wholesalers. Wholesalers in Houston. It's about, there's a few of them clustered right here. So if I was a betting man, I would say that this area right here where all these clustered wholesalers is in what's called an industrial park, right? You have a lot of wholesaling businesses clustered in what's called industrial parks. Every major city has an industrial park, right? So, and then you got some of them spread out along certain corridors. A lot of businesses position themselves by interstates so carriers can get in and out pretty freely to the main interstates and get back on the road so they can get out of the city, as opposed to being inside of cities and dealing with traffic. That's just the demographics of it, right? So, but we got wholesaling companies. So from a broker's perspective, that's what I would do, Daryl.
Gotcha.
And I'm hoping to hear from Rachel. I see her on. Let me type something in here. Ask her if she can speak. Okay, so now, are there any questions from anyone for me? And then Les, I hope you and Justin got some information that you guys can use.
Yes, thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
No, not at this time.
Okay. And I'm trying to get Rochelle to comment. She's a broker. She just got her. She said my mic. And said, let me call her because she's a brand new broker. Just got her authority and everything. Her active broker, so she's brand new. So she can give us a different perspective. Hey, Rochelle.
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
I'm okay. I think I'd call you since you couldn't hear.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So yeah, I was going over some broker information with Daryl. He's also a broker, and we also were talking about dispatching. So I'm glad I saw your name tuned in. So how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Okay. Any questions on your end, comments, or?
I just basically completed my website and just completed my Facebook page. So, just trying to get, all the preliminary, forms of social media out there to, put my name out there. But my questions, I'm trying to think of any other questions that I had, previous to talking to you. I think you pretty much answered them. But my main, concern was, trying to find shippers, and being that you're new, as a freight broker, the difficulties that you run into. But, is there any, are there a lot of other brokers that are, finding that to be an issue, with the current circumstances right now, or do you find it easier?
Well, funny you should mention that. Daryl, because Daryl's a new broker as well, and he's actually on the call right now on training.
Oh, okay.
So Daryl,
how you
Hey,
doing?
how you doing, Phil?
So did you hear what she said? Are you having what are your pain points? What obstacles are you running across as far as being a new broker? Is it finding shippers, or is it having shippers dealing with brokers who just got their authority active? What are your pain points, Daryl?
Well, actually, I'm working under a broker. I stepped back as an agent. To work under a broker, but I mean, I'm still pretty much, doing the groundwork. But the feedback, like I said, feedback I'm getting is, the economy jacked up, and the carriers, like I said, they like hyenas in the desert. So again, but it just goes all the way back to what I said about who I feel like, pretty much is the strongest link in the hierarchy, and which is the manufacturers, because the manufacturer is saying, hey man, it's slow, call back next month and all this type of stuff, then that pretty much sets the tone for everybody else. But maybe Rochelle have some good, exciting news for me.
Okay, so Rochelle, what are you finding? Just the fact that you're a new broker, and because the reason I'm asking that, because what I'm getting at is, as a broker and what's going on right now with the coronavirus and stuff, what freight out here, what commodities out here that let's say he has to go, he has another call. Hopefully, I don't know if his business partner's going to stay on or not, but Justin. But what freight out here? Okay, what commodities out here that are still, because even though we're going through a pandemic, right, there are still things out here that are moving. Like there's still companies like FEMA, for example, with the N95s and the insulation gowns. I just took a box truck from my area to Charlottesville, Virginia, to a FEMA facility. So, what is still out here that's needed, and that should be the area where new brokers probably should target those types of shippers, right? Right. Robert just made a good point too. Hand sanitizer. So anything that's essential to the condition that we're living in right now, if there are products, services, and products that need to be shipped from shippers to facilities that these products are needed, those are the shippers, whether they're manufacturers, wholesalers, distributors, that you guys as brokers probably should target starting out. And then when this pandemic thing finally dissolves and everything opens back up, you can go after pretty much anything else. But right now, if you research, we probably need to focus on those things. Like for example, where are you? You're in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, I actually did some research last night, and I printed off just the essential worker, the workforce, and so I seen what was essential throughout the United States.
Okay.
And so from that, I had used what is this here? I used one of the resources, McRae's Blue Book.
Yeah, McRae's Blue Book.
Yeah.
Okay, did you come across any?
Where you can find, all the shippers and everything. And so, I went and I just put in, the information like, for all those essential workers and stuff, like they have, like the food and agriculture, then you have, the pharmaceutical end, so I'm just trying to, you have the hygiene and product services, these are the different categories that were, considered essential on this list that was, from the federal government. So I just took that information and I'm trying to devise, like a shipper call list that I'm going to, do within this next couple of weeks.
And remember, I was talking to you. Once you finally upgrade your Ascend TMS from a free version to
I did it yesterday after talking to you.
Okay, so then you probably going to be getting access to that 26,000 shipper. Right.
Yeah, I seen that last night. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so there you go. Now that's something for Daryl to consider too. Daryl, as a broker or broker agent, if you have access. If the TMS you're using is Ascend, and if it's not the free version, if it's the premium version, which I think is $69 a month.
Yes.
Okay. Then it has the ability to provide shippers, a dynamic list, updated list of shippers. Now, you got people on social media that will try to sell you outdated shipper lists. I would not buy any of those at all. So. Just my advice. So, and
Okay.
But Ascend.
Hey, Jack. I want to say, can you give Rochelle my number, man? Tell her give me a call. Whenever where I can talk to her and gather some data.
Yeah, that's okay with you, Rochelle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that. I will. Transfer those. I'll do that offline. And so I got McRae's Blue Book up on the screen. And before I proceed, those of you who are listening from a dispatcher's perspective, I need to make sure that you guys are good too. If you have any questions who are tuned in, particularly Novella, she's probably taking in everything right now. Even though this is the dispatcher one-on-one training, I'm sure there's some broker level information that could be helpful as well. But again, interrupt me. Yes.
In regards to being a dispatcher and a broker, what will be the major benefit? Well, I guess would be my deterrent from trying to be a broker first. Should I start off as a dispatcher, then be a broker? Or can I go straight into being a broker?
Okay. Does anyone want to volunteer to answer that question before I do, or? No one?
Yeah. Hey, listen. If I had to give him some advice, yeah, I would learn the dispatching thing first. Before becoming a broker. Now, even though I never did dispatching, but I drove trucks. So I kind of see how the domino effects work. But, when you're stepping up into that broker position, it's like you're putting on some steel toe boots. But if you don't have any experience, you putting them boots on, and them boots don't essentially shrink if you don't really have no experience in this industry. But yeah, man, learn that dispatching thing, get a feel of it, and then graduate. You ain't missing nothing hurt, but get that experience, so you can have a better relationship with dispatchers when you do become a broker. Because like I stated last week, I'm carrier friendly. I'm carrier friendly because of my background.
Right, because you used to be a carrier, so now you're carrier friendly now that you're a broker, because you have an understanding of what carriers are looking for because you used to be a carrier. You were in their shoes. Now, to help to piggyback off of Daryl, from a hierarchical standpoint, from least expensive to more expensive startup cost wise, it would probably be easier to be a independent freight dispatcher and then go into a broker. It doesn't take much to be an independent freight dispatcher, just a laptop, desktop, cell phone, internet access.
Yeah, I have everything. I had everything that I need to do the freight dispatch. Like I said, I got we got everything we need. Got everything, just like I said, just waiting on the banks and everything to kind of open up and be more operable to opening up new business accounts. Other than that, got everything in line. I just didn't know would it be best. It does seem like that's what my initial thought process was. Like, let me try to do freight dispatch first and then be a broker, because as far as the financial aspect, that's really not a burden of mine, where if I had to pay the money to be where it's beneficial for me to just be a broker up front, I do that. But I just want to make sure I want to go the proper course and have a full understanding of the whole business.
I would say start off as a dispatcher, either independent or either go this route too. Get your MC authority as a small trucking company, whether it's asset-based or non-asset-based, and dispatch those trucks under your authority, whether you lease them under your authority to the owner-operators or whether you hire company drivers and dispatch them as your assets. You get experience that way too, or if you're an independent freight dispatcher, then you are dispatching for owner-operators under their authority. In either case, you're going to learn the whole.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was my goal. I guess to be an independent dispatcher and work with owner operators.
Okay, so if that being said, then you still are going to have to deal with brokers, shippers, or what have you. So get that experience. Learning the equipment types, learning the whole process of what it is to book loads and things like that. The challenge of being a broker, especially getting your brand new authority of your broker authority, is your first obstacle is going to be shippers trusting you with their loads with no book of business and no experience, right? And Rochelle and Daryl can attest to this right now because this is what they're currently going through, right? So as brokers, that's the first. Once you clear that hurdle and you get your first decent shipper, right, then finding a carrier, if those shipper loads that you get, if they're paying well, the carriers are going to come. That's not going to be the issue. Getting that good shipper with those good paying loads, once you get to that point, that's the challenge of the broker, the brand new broker who just got their authority active, their broker authority. They just got their BOC3, their BMC 84, BMC 85, all the other alphabet titles that goes with being a broker. Once that all gets past that, and mind you, those are expensive, right? Insurance, Rochelle can speak to this. So you and those are, and some of those premiums are monthly. So you're sitting on paying these monthly premiums, but yet you don't have a shipper. So that, so now your liquid assets are slowly dwindling and you don't have a shipper yet. So that can kind of be a little frustrating, but once you get that shipper, then you should be fine.
Okay. All right, yeah, thank you. Well, I got another question too in regards to, I guess, prospecting owner operators. Is there like I'm sure that's probably everybody probably have their own formula or whatever, but there's like maybe a questionnaire where I can better learn my carriers to make sure, hey, every load that I'm putting in front of them, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna take it because one, I basically got their information and where they like to go, where they don't like to go, and different things like that. Is there like a questionnaire out there where you can email to the owner operators and say, hey, look, fill this out. This will better help me understand where you're trying to go and where you like to go.
Right. So what we call that on this training platform is what's called a carrier profile sheet. So we have a dispatcher group. When we first talk to a carrier, whether we talk to them in person, whether we cold call them, or however we communicate with the carrier, and they finally agree to have us be their dispatcher and provide that service for them, we send out a dispatch agreement, what's called a profile sheet. The profile sheet is basically the carrier telling us exactly what you just said, how they want to run, where they want to go, where they don't want to go, how much weight they want to haul, how much cents per mile they're willing to take. And then we cater our load search to that profile, and we won't call the carrier until we have that everything that they require. So yeah, and you can pretty much create that for yourself. You can create that yourself. All you gotta do is just reverse the role. Put yourself in a carrier's position. Put yourself in a truck driver's position. If I had you say, okay, Justin, if I had a dispatcher, what would I want my dispatcher to know from me? So I'll take a load from them, and then you can write all that down on a piece of paper, and that's your profile.
And that's exactly how I was thinking about it. I was trying to reverse engineer it to see because that's how I'm basically trying to, I guess, operate my business more so. Trying to stand by the customer, stand by the customer, which is my carrier, stand by them to making sure I'm doing everything I can for them to support them. In regards to prospecting more, I know you say doing cold calling. Is there a list that you can buy for owner operators out there to cold call them so you can start getting more? You can buy a list, but I would start off with all the free resources. The number one free resource is Google. The second one, we use a couple of things in our platform. We have enrolled members on our platform where we go to our load boards and use a truck search feature, namely on Truckers Tab, and we'll do a search for. I pretty much train on the 3 major equipment types. So if you are a beginner dispatcher, then I would recommend as beginner dispatchers to focus on those equipment types that move freight the most, because it increases your likelihood of finding loads for them. That's the reason why. So the 3 major equipment types are the dry vans, flatbeds, and reefers, right? 48 to 53-foot flatbeds, 53-foot reefers or refrigerated trailers, and 53-foot dry vans. Those are the ones that are out here the most. So when we do a truck search in Truckers Path, we look for those types of carriers, and then we vet them out on the company snapshot on the FMCSA website to make sure that they're not part of a brokerage, because you don't want a double broker. And once we get past all of our pre-screening requirements and we finally decide that we want to call them, we'll go ahead and call them, and then we'll start a conversation from that point. Okay. Okay,
Problem?
Yes, I do. Sorry about the background noise. Putting some stuff together.
Okay, it's fine. So with that, start off as a dispatcher to kind of get your feet wet, because you're going to learn. You're not going to learn everything that you need to know about being a broker, being a dispatcher, but you're going to learn about relationships with brokers as a dispatcher, because let's say you get one good broker for your carrier and you're finding loads for them, then you establish a relationship with that broker, like saying, hey, man, how often do you move these loads in this lane? And they're going to say, like I said before, daily, once a week, once a month, or however. If it's daily, then you say, okay, well, I can have my carrier or other carriers in this lane for you. Just let me know when they're available. You say, okay, what's your email? It's going to add you to an email list. Or
like
him
before he sends it to the load board.
Exactly. So now, you like with Rochelle. So I'm hoping Rochelle is hearing this and Daryl, because brokers they're gonna either post loads on the load board, and they're gonna have a list of carriers already approved under their brokerage. So when they get loads from shippers, they're gonna reach out to their carrier network first. If they can't fill that load from that, then they're gonna go and put the load on the load board. Or they might do it at the same time, which doubles their chances of getting that load moved.
Right. I'm in total agreement with that. I think in the past that has been an issue with the understanding of that, but it's so important to have your carrier base, or at least, reputable dispatchers that you can reach out to that are going to supply you with carriers that they either have already pre-screened, or when you're doing, as a broker, doing your own screening of them, that you have a pool to pick from. And if you already have that established, that's going to make your movement of, your shipments even easier, even smoother. So I have, within this last month, have been reaching out to dispatchers and inquiring, what lanes or what regions that their carriers are in, so that I can already have a pool of individuals that I can pick from.
So now you guys hear that? So this is how this broker is thinking. So she's getting ahead of the curve with carriers and dispatchers. So when Mike said that's nice. So I wish all brokers had that mentality, getting ahead, reaching out, and actually starting conversations and relationships with dispatchers, because on this platform, you can rest assured that we're going to pre-screen and vet out our carriers. We want to make sure that they're not part of another brokerage, because we don't want to double broker, and we want to make sure that all of their other documents that we ask for when we get them under a dispatch agreement, namely the W-9, MC authority, and certificate of insurance, and NOA if they have a factoring company. All those things are up to date. You don't want to have an outdated policy on a certificate of insurance, because that just wastes time. We have to go back, call the agent, get a new certificate of insurance, because eventually we're going to make her, the broker, a certificate holder on that anyway. And other things. You want to make sure the W-9 is updated, the MC authority is active, and they're in operation. So once we we're pretty much helping. If you think about it, let's think about this. We're pretty much helping the broker, because we're doing all the legwork for them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So brokers, wait a minute. I just figured it out. Brokers should be thanking us.
Charlie, explaining it like that is interesting, because just how you explain it is how I have my website mapped out. Like, you have to, everything is there for you. I don't need you to contact me in order for you to get information off of my website. If you are interested in being a carrier or being, linked up to us, as far as my brokerage, then everything is there. You might need to submit your information, so I'll have that. So, your email and stuff like that, and certain, points of contact. But everything is already there on my website, because I feel like when you go to certain, companies' websites, it's like you still have to make that phone call. You still have to make that, that extra. And my carrier form is there. You have a place for you to print out your W-9, and you can, fill out that information. Like, I don't want any barriers to you, coming aboard if that's what you can, you can do. Right. And it'd be after the screening. I don't want anything to stop it. I have a carrier packet, already designed, for a person to look at, a shipper packet already designed for a person to look at. So I wanted it to be thorough, before I put it out there. I hope that that's the intent for it.
Well, do you mind, because everybody's typing in the chat, what is your website? Do you mind me typing it in?
Now look, y'all be easy on me now. You be easy.
Okay.
There's some stuff on there. Now, if there's any errors on there, y'all make sure y'all tell me.
Well, we're not looking at it with raw eyes. We just want to see the characteristics and what it has to offer. So if you don't,
right, sure. It's www.decisivelogistic.com.
Okay.
www.decisive. I'm not on the website. I'm on via just phone because I'm listening then.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I was going to do that too. I'm going to copy and paste it. I got it up right now. It's keeping your business moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, so I got the right one. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste it into the chat, and then it's in the recording right now, and I just pasted it in the chat. So we're all looking at your website now. So okay, got a home page about us, our services, shipping your product, carrier business management, and these are the headers at the top. Oh, you do auto transport, or you going to do auto transport?
Yes.
So are you working with like carriers on Central Dispatch?
Yes, I've already got that set up with Central Dispatch, and so it's just like everything is coming together, like all at one time, so.
Okay. Good information. Everybody's saying good information. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Robert said, "Who did your website?" Pretty impressive.
That was a long, hard, arduous task. I did that.
What's the name of the website again? I'm so sorry.
If you see anything, go ahead and fill out and be like, hey, you misspelled this.
Yeah. The website is www.decisivelogistics.com. Okay. And I'm scrolling down. And then you and I, we talked about doing the partnering up with the Freight Broker 101, correct?
Yes.
Okay. From an instructional, and so I might roll your website into my and
Yeah, I even put in there because as I'm talking to more and more people, I'm finding that a discovery call is basically because you're not going to get that first carrier or that first shipper on your first call. So knowing that, it's like you have to, you have to have an introduction point. It's just like a date, like you're meeting somebody, So I want to give the person an opportunity to just schedule a discovery call at their convenience so that whenever they got the time, I'm going to try and make the time, to contact them and let's sit down and talk. I've just kind of, been sitting back listening to everybody, and I kind of put all people's, thoughts or high points into the website just to make it, as, friendly as possible to anybody that's searching for information. Now I do require that, and I do get to see it, but like for my surety bond, for anything that is,
right.
Like my commercial or anything, I make sure that you have to, subscribe so that I can see your information, do my little research on the person, asking for it, and then I'll give them access to that information if they, if they need it.
Yeah, like a shipper.
Right, like a shipper.
Yeah.
Right.
This is a very impressive website. I'm actually I'm going to say this on the recording. I'm a little jealous. Yeah, Mike said.
Everybody's, as I'm listening, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to add tonight.
Mike said, tell her nice looking website. Everybody's saying the website's nice. Website's nice. Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm going to shut my website down like after tonight. Well, mine is not as detailed like this. Mine is more of a training platform. But yeah, this is good. Okay, you got a home page about us, the services. So it's going to scroll. You click it, and it's going to scroll. Okay, you got the scrolling type from the Wix design. When you click the top link, and it scrolls to the location. Gotcha.
Right. And then
what is it called?
under carrier business management.
Yeah.
There's a carrier profile. There's a carrier packet too. See the on bar?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can click on that. It's going to take you to the page where you can see that. You can hit. Now you got to subscribe to the agreement because I need to have some information before I let it out there.
Right.
And but I put everything to where basically a person will know exactly what they need to do if they choose to work with us.
Exactly. The website again is www.decisivelogistics.com. Okay. I think I heard somebody had asked a question about what was the website again. And then someone had a comment.
Training. I think you said your website is more so geared to training. So my question was, what was the cost of your training? Because right now that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at all the different, I guess, training aspects that they have out there for dispatchers and just trying to decipher through them to see more bang for buck like that.
Are you asking for my training for a dispatcher?
Correct.
You're on the phone, though. You're not on the computer, right?
Yeah, I'm doing some garage work, so I'm just listening and just kind of taking notes.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will text you the link to the website, and then you can look at that. Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Rochelle Robert just asked, do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, I just did, it's under, let me see. Sorry.
Because I may have to friend you myself.
Okay. My Facebook page, let me see. I just made one for, if you look at my business name.
Okay, what is that?
Yeah, my business name is, I just made it today. So that page is out there. Or if you want, my personal is Rachel Bingham, Bingham,
and then the business one is the business here, Decisive Logistics. That's a Facebook page.
Yes, that's Facebook page.
Okay, so I will look into both of them.
Okay.
And then Robert, Decisive Logistics Facebook page. I'm gonna. Decisive. See, we got a broker on, and everybody's impressed. So, let's see.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, Wix. If you want to make a website for yourself, I do recommend Wix. Wix is very. They will give you just the template line if you want, but I wanted to have access to change mine at will, and you can do that. It takes much more longer, to become fluent in it, but you can do it. It took me about 3 weeks to get this one done, and but with time it will come. But Wix is very easy, very user friendly for the person that wants to make their website.
Yeah, mine is built on the Wix platform, and I have a link in there. If someone clicks and joins under the Wix link on mine, I'm an affiliate. I have an affiliate link with Wix. I don't know if you got one on your website or not.
No, but I was going to inquire with them about that, and see, that's another way, to have, another stream of income too.
That is correct. So I typed in Decisive Logistics in the search bar of Facebook, and it came up with I don't know if you can see my screen.
Oh, let me see. Oh, it didn't come up yet. Let me see. Let's see if I do.
Robert said, you can add music to your web page. The problem is, though, you have to be careful because there's copyrights and certain songs you add to. Like I had on one of my pages on my website, I had Barry White's love theme started out, right? So, and I got a call from this company saying that, hey, you can't do that because the company has trademarks or rights on it. You got to get permission first to use that. So if you do have music on your website, Wix has some pre-recorded songs that are free, almost like iTunes, but they're part of their library, their music library. So videos, and you can go to other websites that offer that stuff too, just like with images and things like that. So yeah.
I'm talking about originals. My originals. My music.
Oh yeah, original. Well then I have to get some of your recordings, Robert, because I know you played a pretty mean guitar, right? The bass.
Bass guitar. Yeah, you got it. There you go.
Yeah, so yeah, I get some originals in there. So, but yeah, Rochelle has a man. Yeah, this is pretty good, pretty good. So now, if you send a link, oh yeah, too. Also, for Rochelle and Daryl, go to. Have you guys considered LinkedIn?
That's my next thing is to set up a LinkedIn account.
I'm gonna take you to mine real quick.
Okay.
And is Daryl still on here?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so I think Daryl is on the phone though. He's not on the computer, but at least listening in though, right? So, so I got my LinkedIn page, Exodus Logistics, Senior Trainer and Consulting at Exodus. Okay, so if you do a search for shippers, right? Shippers, and it'll have at the top of the result shippers in jobs. That means you're looking for a shipper jobs. But shippers in people, that means you're looking for companies or people who are shippers. These are the actual people that you will actually talk to. So you click that, and then you click to. So here's a list in my area of all the shippers that have a LinkedIn account. So you can just connect to them, send them your advertisement, and then go from there. And I don't even have if you have a premium LinkedIn account, it's even more so. It's almost like a SIN with the 26,000 shippers. But now you're dealing with people personally. This is, a personal person. He's a rail shipper. Look at that.
Right.
So,
how much is the premium? Do you have the premium?
I don't have the premium. I was going to try it for free. I'm trying to, let's click this premium for free to see what the price is. Okay, so here we go. It doesn't give the numbers here. Okay, so on Facebook, it's Decisive Logistics Solutions, LLC. So let's look that up real quick. Decisive Logistics Solutions, LLC.
Yeah, that logistics is not plural. That it's just take the S out up there. Right.
It's singular?
Yeah, singular. I don't know. Let's see. I just got on.
Yeah, I'm not finding it on Facebook.
I just got on it, but do I have to put my I don't know if I have to put my username on there. I'm looking at it right now, but it's not coming up. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I will get it from you from the personal when I connect to you.
Okay.
And Robert, call Mike. Mike just call him when you get a chance.
Okay, I will.
No. I was saying Mike. But Daryl, you call Daryl Rochelle, but Mike calls Robert.
Okay.
Or Robert calls Mike. I'm sorry. So let's see. But LinkedIn, yeah, you just type in shippers and you look for shippers and people, and you get the people who are shippers. And then the Spanish speaking.
Excellent. Yeah, that's gonna be excellent too.
Spanish speaking. Robert just asked about the lady who was on here, Carmen Sanchez, I think her name was, or Carmen, that was here last week. She's supposed to get back with me about that, Robert. But I need to get that demographic going because there are a lot of Latino or Hispanic carriers out there that we can pretty much target, and they pretty much run anywhere. So So right here, Sarah Mitch, logistics coordinator at Low Fire Logistics, veteran-owned business. So, I mean, we got freight brokers, we got shipping and receiving managers. That's what you need to deal with: shipping and receiving managers, logistics managers, shipping managers. So you go into LinkedIn and connect that way. And then also, there was another one that I had. Geez. There's so many of them.
Hey, are you thinking on that under the broker standpoint or under the dispatcher standpoint in regards to finding shippers on LinkedIn and reaching out to them?
From the either or, but mainly on the broker one. Because if you try to reach out to shippers from a dispatcher's perspective, it's going to be a challenge because when you try to get set up with shippers, the only way you can do it if you are a dispatcher and you're working for a trucking company, then you can use the authority information for the trucking company, especially if it's like 20 or more trucks. It looks more impressive to a shipper then, right? You can say, I'm a logistics dispatcher for this company. So, and then you can do it from that perspective. But if you try to reach out to a shipper just being one carrier dispatcher, you're pretty much going to get shot down.
Gotcha. Makes sense. That's understandable. So I just need to more so try to reach out to owner operators, correct? Or brokers.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very good website, Rochelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, as soon as I hang this call up, I'm going to go ahead and just redesign my whole format. No, I'm just kidding. So anything else from you guys? And then Rochelle and I, we're eventually going to, because on here, can you see the screen, Rochelle?
Yeah, I can see the screen. I just can't use my mic.
Okay. So under Carrier Services, Dispatcher 101, this is where all the dispatchers, get their training. And then Freight Broker 101, this is all the content that I have under the Freight Broker 101 training.
Yes.
So we got prerequisites to being a freight broker, the freight broker requirements, freight broker, I need to change this title, freight broker versus freight agent. That's what it should be. Workflow, the 4 R's, working capital. Who's that laughing? Mike? And then after you get through all this, then you get into module 1 as far as customers and shippers from a broker's perspective. So, and then dealing with customers, shippers, the different packet types from a shipper packet type to a carrier packet type. What are the difference between the two? So this is all what brokers need to know, especially new brokers. Approved carriers, booking loads, what's in that process, how the workflow of booking a load, the TMS system, because you can book your loads through the TMS. You have to build the load, right? Because shippers are going to send you a load tender, and then you create the rate confirmation from that, unless it's an EDI integration, right? So, so all that stuff is kind of next level type of stuff, but it's good for new brokers to have an understanding of what it is, though. So once they get to that point, they'll say, okay, yeah, I remember seeing this. So,
right.
So, and I'm sorry you did not get that on the other platform that you were on. I won't mention any names, but you know what I'm saying. So, yes.
Yeah, and that last one that you were talking about, the TMS system, and making sure, like you said, you get that tender. I just want to make sure that everything that I'm doing is established. I don't want to, hinder the process at all, either from receiving my money or receiving, or paying, making sure that, I don't want to be, the cause of any hang-ups.
Right. So from a broker's perspective.
Right, from a broker's perspective.
Right. So your TMS, so from a broker's perspective, you're already going to have a factory company in your brokerage. So you getting paid from the shipper, because shippers pay 30 to 45 days out. They don't care.
Right.
They give you a target rate and say, okay, I'm going to pay you next month. But if you got a factory company, then you let the factory company worry about getting the money from them in the long term, and they'll pay you up front minus their cut, their percentage, right?
Right.
So TMS systems we talk about in our, freight broker training, got different ones. Ascend, Algex. I'm sure you've heard of Algex, Axis. I know every TMS system that's listed in this Freight Broker 101 back office I've worked with. That's why I put it there. So Ascend is a good one. eFreight Solutions, Axis. Algex is a common one by Descartes. And we just go into so when I click it, it'll open up a separate link to go into the actual TMS system. And TMS systems we deal with is basically a TMS system right here, like this paragraph says. It's a transportation management system or software. It's a combination of a CRM, which is a customer relationship management, and a CMS, content management. So it's like a database of interconnected data transferred between two parties, right? Namely the shipper and the broker. So its purpose is to centralize all the data in one location to best effectively process all information in the transportation industry. That's pretty much what a TMS system is. You're organizing all your invoices, you're organizing your customers, who are the shippers, you're organizing your carriers, you're organizing your assets and your asset base, you're organizing the loads. You're building the loads, document management, rates. So everything is a one-stop shop, centralized software platform. That's what a TMS system is. So every good brokerage needs to have one. So now you choose which one you want to decide to take or use based off of the features of the different systems. Right?
Right.
So again, I'm sorry you didn't get that from any the other, but and I'm just scratching the surface, to be honest with you. I haven't all this stuff I go into so much. I go into more detail in this than I do in this. I haven't done this in a while. But I go into more detail than this because there's so much more in the brokerage side. The dispatching side is easy. As far as
I would agree with. I'm sorry, but I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah. So the brokerage side.
I think the rewards are better in the broker side in the long run because you have more control over how much you make.
Correct. There you go. And you guys, you're hearing that from the broker. So not me. You're hearing it from the broker. So have you got it? You haven't gotten a shipper yet. Someone asked, are you booking loads? You haven't gotten a shipper yet, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I've done some auto hauling, and stuff like that, but nothing consistent. Like I'm really about to press, into and really start, beating up the phones and sending, and really trying to contact people. Because I think, and this is just my personal opinion, that it's about to be ripe that those who in the freight, as a freight broker, a brokerage, and as a dispatcher, those that don't make it past this, they just get skinned off. And I think everybody's going to have a fair shot again, at, some of these good, shippers to get involved with, a lot of the old timers, maybe they didn't make it, with the virus. Maybe, unfortunately, they fall to the wayside. And so, I have to look at it like that because I'm new, and so my perspective has to, be like that. But I think that, I have an opportunity because I'm new that I can get in there and put my best foot forward.
Okay. Well, I like that. That's a good mentality to have. So, there you go. All right, guys. What was that? Oh, yeah, I was going to ask a question.
And she's hungry.
Are you looking? Yeah, she's hungry. Are you looking for to bring on any freight agents to assist you with the calling part of it, or are you looking to set up like a call center environment to have call center people calling the shippers with scripts and things like that, or are you kind of?
Yeah,
the way I have my phone system set up, I have it set up in the call center style. So if I was to, bring on someone, that's an avenue that I can already, switch into. I think, as I become, probably within the next couple of weeks, I'll definitely put, a advertisement out there, for agents, so that, and it will be on a commission basis.
Correct. Yep, that'd be the best way to go. Commission based. What are you using your phone system? Ring Central?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, which is that's one of the better ones. So, okay, you got it. You got it.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
Hey, Chad. Hey, this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man. I give. All right, I gotta go. I'll give you a call tomorrow, man. Whatever you have time we can elaborate on something. But tell Rochelle, yeah, man, give me a call, man, and we go from there.
I will do. All right, Dale, take it easy.
Okay, y'all be cool. Take it easy.
All right. Mike said, tell her to holler at him. I need a job. I'm gonna need a job. So I got one shipper feed for you. She's lumber. She's based in North Carolina. She could.
I had a question. I said, man, I gotta remind myself to ask you. Okay, so your MC has different categories, right?
As far as
when you're a broker, you have different categories.
Right. Well, there's two categories under the MC for a broker, which is a broker of property or a broker of household goods.
Okay.
And then there are four categories under the carrier MC, which is a common carrier, contract, household goods, and passenger.
Mm-hmm.
So on the broker side, there's two that I know of: broker, just general freight, broker of property, and then household goods. So.
Okay, so this one shipper I was going after, he stated to me that I didn't have vehicle hauling in my on my MC, and I didn't know that you had to have those different X's by your. By which you
right, and he's right because you are because vehicles are not considered general freight. They are considered property, but you do need to have some kind of extra because you're doing auto transporting. That's I think that's probably what he's talking about.
But I have the insurance. You know what I'm saying? The $1 million insurance. I have the insurance for it.
You may have the gloss. I don't know if you have the gloss or the one the 100,000 cargo and $1 million liability. Like, do you have contingent cargo? Like up to
yes.
up to like 250.
I have contingent cargo at 250.
Okay.
$1 million liability.
Okay. Then I don't see what he was talking about. Then you should be fine.
He must not have known what he was talking about. But you can see when I'm looking at others' MC numbers that they do have the boxes like at lumber. They're doing refrigerated goods. It's X'd. So
right.
How do you get a change to be made or an addendum or addition to your MC number without having to apply again?
No. I see what you're asking. No, if you are a general freight or general broker of property and not household goods, you should be covered under any equipment type that you're. Yeah, you should be covered under reefer loads, dry van loads, flatbed loads, because that's the type of freight that you're hauling. The commodities fall under the category on that one category for the broker authority that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you should be fine. I don't know why they're asking. Let me reach out to one of my other broker friends just to get a more clarity on it. But your broker of property should cover you for the type of shippers you're going after. General freight. They're general freight, but they're general refrigerated freight, or they're general flatbed freight, or they're general dry van freight, but it's still under the category of general freight.
Right.
So
that's what I was thinking.
Right. So yeah. But we will look into that.
Okay.
And then Mike, I don't know if it's because you're a new broker or not. I don't know, but if you have your authority and it's active, then I can't. I mean, it probably is because you're a new broker. That's probably what they're saying. They're probably just trying to throw you off. But we'll see. When we talk offline, let me know who that shipper is. I'm gonna see what's going on with them, because I have the ability to look up a lot of shippers and see what's going on their side too. There's information out here so prevalent. You just got to know how to use it correctly, you know. So, but we'll look into that, see what's going on, see why that was even mentioned like that. So, all right.
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, guys, it's past my bedtime. I'm gonna see if my wife is nudging at me to come on.
Hey, before you wrap up, how often do you do these calls?
The live calls, the live trainings are Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are the two times where I'm on live. But I mean, I can be reached at my. Well, you're not on the computer, but I'm gonna put my number in the chat anyway. But I'm gonna reach out to you anyway, because I was supposed to give you something, was I not? Oh yeah, the link to the Exodus website.
Yeah, that, and also I want to talk to you more in regards to the training, the freight dispatching training.
Yeah, I was gonna send you the link, and then once you get the link, you can call me. Call me tomorrow. I'll be in Williamsburg all day. So.
Okay. Okay, that'll work. I can give you a call tomorrow.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone? We kind of started off with dispatching, and then freight broker guys. The broker just came in and took over the training. So I'm gonna title this "Freight Broker Takeover." That's exactly what I'm gonna title it. Freight Broker Takeover. Has a little catch to it. So, I was looking forward to your friends joining too, Rachel, the ones you said you were going to reach out to and have them tune in, but that's fine.
Yeah, I have put out the word, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Until next time, salute you guys, and then I'll see you on the live training. Next one will be Sunday. So Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully,
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay. Bye.